All right. Good morning, everybody. Merry Christmas. I know it's the day after, but I didn't do a show yesterday. So for a lot of you, this is my first and possibly only opportunity to say it. So Merry Christmas. And peace on earth. And I mean that. Right now, we still have the Ukraine conflict. There's still some nastiness going on in some key places. But this was a relatively calm and peaceful holiday season, and I think we can all be very grateful for that. We're going to talk this morning a little bit about the fact that this was a violent year, and the last 20 years have been particularly violent. The last 25 years, and this year there was something different, something importantly different, right? So we'll have Mario in here in just a minute, but and that's what we'll be talking about. While we're waiting on Mario, and because I wanted to get this out of the way up top, and I'll come back around to it again at the close, I want to give you guys a little update on some stuff we're doing over here now. So, there's a new channel that I want. I'm going to want you guys to go and subscribe to, and for the moment, there's nothing on it. Now that's going to change today, right? But there's now Brushfire Anthems, and as I said, there's nothing on it yet, so it's not going to come up easily when you search it. It's just not there yet. So I'm going to drop the link here in the live chat, and I'm also going to pop the link over on as the pinned comment on this episode to get started. I'd love to get a few of you guys to go ahead and subscribe to the new YouTube channel. So what this is, because the algorithm likes precision, I'm going to be taking all of the music off of the Brushfire Mind, and it will all live now on the Brushfire Anthem. So got a dozen or so songs already published with music videos. God is Dead, All Your Martyrs Are Monsters, the couple of Christmas songs we've done, a few others. And my commitment to you guys on this front is we're going to be publishing a minimum of 4 new music videos a month. We're going to try to do one a week. At least one a week. And hopefully we can grow that BFM Anthems channel rapidly, because I'd like to see it tear away financially from the regular Brushfire Mind show and begin funding itself by the end of next year, right? By the end of 2026. I'm hoping that all of the cost of the Brushfire music project are being paid for by the earnings of the Brushfire Music Project. Now, obviously, like I said, it's a brand new channel. It has 1 subscriber, and I'm it. And there's no content on it. And again, that's changing today. That's what I'm doing with my day today. Is I'm moving all of the music from the Brushfire Mind over to Brushfire Anthems. So there will be no more music on the Brushfire Mind main channel. I'm going to keep all the music exclusively on Brushfire Anthems for the time being, until we've got about 24 or 30 songs, somewhere in that range, with videos, and then probably double that with kind of videos. When I say kind of videos, I'll show you guys an example. As I've shown you guys, I've demonstrated before, I use Suno AI to make the music that I do with these songs, right? So when we have a music video, like this one is brand spanking new. Let me see. You know what? I'm going to do that. Hang on. Forgive the dead air for a second. I'm going to do that correctly so that it doesn't mess with the order operandi. And then I'll show you guys this. So I can output these things that are kind of like music videos from Suno. I want to say kind of like video. It's technically video, but as you can see, it's basically just a still image. It's good enough for somebody to listen to a song. Right? And obviously this is if the product is free, then the product is used. So I'll start pumping out the songs in that format for a while until we've got several more of those published. And again, this will all be on Brushfire Anthems on YouTube. And then this will be this one that I'm about to play now. This will be the first one. This is the first song, Cut the Tentacles. Cut the Tentacles is going to be the first release on Brushfire Anthems shortly after the show this morning. And it doesn't live anywhere else yet, except for right now when I'm about to play it for you. And on the once it's published over on the Brushfire Anthems channel.
If you
All right. So I'm not super excited about the video there, but I like the song. And we have a Wild Mario who's appeared in the chat.
Yeah, I know.
Morning, sunshine. Merry Christmas.
Good
I
morning.
know it was yesterday, but I see you today.
I'm kind of confused.
We're seen.
I mean, I said I'd be a few minutes late, but like 10 minutes, Mario, in broadcast term, 10 minutes is a century. Okay.
Yeah.
And secondly, I'm kind of confused. I thought I'd be turning into a Firearms Friday, and what I get is a DEI readaptation of the main quest characters from Final Fantasy VII, battling Cthulhu, who has sacked the capital. So I have no idea what's going on.
So I was just introducing the new channel. Brushfire Anthems is live, and I'll be moving all of our music off of the Brushfire Mind and onto Brushfire Anthems to better serve the algorithm and increase our growth and reach again. We are 9 subscribers away from getting monetization back on YouTube. As many of you who have been watching the show for a while know, we were monetized back in the day. And then, even before COVID hit, we got somebody noticed that I was a white boy, and monetization was stripped away. And then they changed the rules again. And now we're about to have broken the new rules and wormed our way back into sucking a paycheck out of YouTube. So the objective, we want to get that money to fund some other projects, and then I want to get the music channel, the Brushfire Anthems channel, up to where it's funding its own projects. And Mario, now that you're here, let's talk about the topic of the day, which is peace on earth, my man. We just went through Christmas, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and there are no headlines about love trucks hitting Christmas markets, anything like that. Whereas for the last several years,
there have been attempts, but they were foiled.
Yes, I'm getting to that. So over the last several years, we've seen many attacks. In 20. Okay, I've got dates and events here. Of course, last year, 2024, car ramming. Somebody drove a car into a crowd at the Magdeburg, killing 6, including a 9-year-old child, and injuring more than 200 people.
Yeah.
Right.
I have the video somewhere in my files, but yeah, I saw it.
But yeah, we had major terrorist attacks on Christmas Eve, and just in the week or two leading up to Christmas, almost every year for the last nearly 20 years. The first one in our timeline was the Nantes, France Christmas market vehicle incident, which was a van ramming. It only killed one person, so it wasn't quite the absolute catastrophe that some of the others were. But love trucks at Christmas had become a bit of a tradition.
Well, it still inspired. It didn't matter how many people got killed. It's still terror.
Agreed.
Okay? It still sends the message that something as routine and routine in daily life as a truck or a lorry, as they would say on the street, could be used as a deadly weapon. So yeah.
Black Pigeon just did a video about the presence of what they call Ach barriers.
Yeah, or they call them Merkel blocks.
Yeah.
Merkel blocks is what the Germans cynically call them. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Merkel blocks and Ach barriers. Basically concrete barriers positioned around gathering points precisely because you need them to protect the citizenry when they gather, to protect them from the ravages of hostile foreign invaders. Mm-hmm. Because the world over is being devoured. The Western world over is being devoured by third world immigrants who come with ill intent.
But nothing in Europe is going to improve until their treasonous leadership are basically expelled from the government and from public life. They should be, well, this is a family friendly morning show. I'm not going to tell you what I really think should be done with them, but It's guessed. Traitors deserve far worse than enemies in most cases.
Correct.
Sergeant Major says, "Do you think the intelligence agencies are doing their jobs in Europe?" No. Okay. What I think the decrease you're seeing, the decrease that Chris is talking about. Okay, we can't mention that without also mentioning that certain what would normally be public Christmas displays. Okay, festivals, all right, markets, etc. They actually have curtailed some of them. Okay, or some of them were canceled. All right.
Yes.
So that's worse. That means that is quite literally in George W. Bush, okay, thinking that means the terrorists win. Okay.
And he's not wrong. But
no, he's not. He's not.
But there is another piece of the phenomenon going on. Following things like the attack with the little Scottish girl that pulled out the axe and the knife and said, "Don't rape my sister."
Yeah.
Incidents like Irina Zarutska.
Mm-hmm.
There was another similar attack like that less than a week ago. I believe, where was that one? Was that Florida man incident?
Florida was that was a schizophrenic homeless black walked into Barnes and Nobles. That someone should have called the cops right there on the spot, because that's not natural behavior. Okay. And he just randomly stabbed a woman in the back. Just literally sunk a knife in her back and then ran off. He got arrested shortly after. But
dude, I was at a Chinese buffet a couple weeks ago.
Enjoying a succulent Chinese meal, were you?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to enjoy a succulent Chinese meal. And when I walked in, there was a couple at the front desk, right? They were both grotesquely obese, right? And they, both had just shit in their face. The male was overtly feminine. The female was overtly masculine. They both had weird hair colors, and they were screaming at the girl at the counter about the restaurant's policy toward their dog. They wouldn't let them bring their dog in, and they're screaming about, well, this is an emotional support dog. This is a medical necessity, right? They didn't have any kind of paperwork to say that. The dog didn't have the emotional support animal official vest or the bumper sticker thing on it, right? Like, if you want to, you got a broken foot, you want to park in the handicap spot. Do you have the placard? Right? There's a reason we do these things, because there are people who have legitimate disabilities, and they've got a thing hanging there that says, I'm not walking across the parking lot on my half a foot. Right?
I better at least see some crutches if you don't have any documentation. Okay, I want to see your best Tiny Tim, fucker.
Yeah. So these grotesques are just standing there screaming at these poor little Chinese women. And it's like, oh my God. And I just walk, I'm like, listen, honey, stop arguing with the fat fucks. Stop arguing with the spiteful mutants. Just call the police and have them arrested.
Yeah, tell them they're trespassing. You're no longer welcome here. Yeah. If you don't leave, you're trespassing. That's it.
Yeah, just
I hate people like that. It's actually
the only thing they're good for. Call them. Make them do the job that they force us to pay them for.
Yeah. Stuff like that, when you see, as a white man, okay, when I see public displays of utter unacceptable, boorish, uncouth white trash behavior, it disgusts me. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I honestly, I want them executed on the spot. Just for they're inadequate. They are so inadequate, okay, that they are in fact reducing the perception of my adequacy merely by existing, and that warrants death. Happy Friday.
So,
Mario,
Sergeant Major asked a question. Sergeant Major asked a question. Do you think the intelligence agencies are doing their jobs? In part. I think there is, in the U.S., there's a bit of that going on, where, Secretary of War Hegseth has been trimming some fat, especially from the DEI hires. And a major problem with our intelligence agencies, hell, since you and I enlisted, Mario, has been the presence of of DEI policy appeasement tactics. I mean, I was in Afghanistan on a cop, in from the sector to refit ammo, and I got harassed about my shave, right? I got yelled at because I wasn't sufficiently clean shaven, right? This was at like 6:30 in the evening, coming off of an armored convoy across an open combat zone. I hadn't shaved since that morning, and I got locked up by a first sergeant, a female first sergeant.
Oh no.
A black female first sergeant out of the 10th Mountain.
God, it gets worse and worse and worse as you go on.
Oh, Mario, I said 10th Mountain. You know what that means?
I know. That means they're
she was also obese.
Yeah,
and I don't mean she was out of regs. I don't mean her uniform was a little snug. This bitch was round. Like, and it is in fact possible to look at a soldier and say conclusively, to know conclusively, you are so overweight that it is not possible for you to still be enlisted and in uniform without an official medical profile issued by a doctor related to injuries, service-connected injuries, some sort of like thyroid disease. But the point is, all of those, if they are long-term, are grounds for dismissal, or grounds to be ejected from service, right? Yeah. You're a malingerer, right? And all that's true. And so if I see this person in garrison, I'm offended at their presence because they should have been removed from the Army to make it more effective. And no. I'm being harassed by this bitch in an active combat zone, right? That was the state of our military 15 years ago, and it only kept getting worse from there. But Seki War Hegseth, he had the big come to Jesus conversation with the boys, and said, "We're done with fat fucks. We're done with career senior enlisted and especially officers who think that, okay, you got your 20 years in, that's great, and we appreciate your service. That doesn't mean that you no longer hold the standards. That doesn't mean that you no longer have to meet the standards and be physically fit to perform the duties." Right? I mean, Dad's watching. I don't mean to stroke his ego too much, but His Majesty was running with the boys right up until he retired. Well, after 36 years of active duty.
You're not stroking his ego. I mean, honestly, in some ways, it is Sergeant Major's fault because his generation in the Army allowed the DEI, the DEI promotion of, in particular, black females to the senior ranks of the enlisted. All right, which allowed for this to happen, which allowed for you to be caught in that absurd situation in Afghanistan. Okay, Sergeant Major is also he's trying to tear apart the weakness of my legal reasoning for Chinese buffet summary executions with basic logic. Okay, and I don't appreciate that, Sergeant Major. I don't know.
and hey, he says, Sergeant Major says, "I did my job." Yeah, on the ego stroking, Dad. I want to make this clear. My point was not that he's the most awesomest daddy ever and the most awesomest soldier ever because he was still running with the boys after 36 years of active duty in his 50s doing PT like a damn professional soldier. My point was, that's the standard. If you're not meeting that standard, you don't belong in my uniform.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care how old you are, how long you've been in service. Right? If you're not meeting the standard, meeting the standard is not some glorious, amazing, over the top. No, that's your fucking job.
Sergeant Major got good knees.
Not anymore.
30, well, yeah. I mean, he's still running. He's still running. Still doing PT. He's not on the walker profile. 36 years in the Army. That means good knees. But it also means the moment you stop doing PT, your knees are going to be like the car at the end of Blues Brothers after it's completed the mission, and then the car just collapses into a pile of scrap. That's what's going to happen.
My knees didn't hold up so good. It's that extra 100 pounds. Oof.
Yeah.
But okay, so that was a massive detour derailment. So back to what I was saying about Hegseth cleaning it up. The absolute state of the military and military intelligence and the intelligence community was grossly perverted and deteriorated over the last 20 some years. And I think that Hegseth's involvement and cutting the fat from the DEI programs is having a positive effect. Another major positive effect, and Carl Benjamin, Sergeant of God, has been very good about this, is people just bitching on the internet, complaining on the internet, right? It is becoming more and more the case that you're seeing content on YouTube, on Rumble, on X, all over the place, especially on X, where it's just people dropping snippets and comments. You're seeing more content about black fatigue, about fatigue with foreign invaders, about people. You're seeing people point to, foreign gangsters being violent, drug trafficking involvement. You're seeing across Europe more and more content where people are actively saying, hey, the government has failed us. They've screwed us. They've brought in all these small boat migrants and what are the East Asia, or the Asian men, when what they mean is Indians and Somalis and the like.
Yeah.
And those are, basically Muslim rape gangs. And we're seeing more and more that all of everything around the Muslim rape gangs for the last 20 years was being actively covered up and by that effectively supported by the European governments, in much the same way that Joe Biden was actively engaged in enabling human trafficking and drug trafficking into this country. Like, the Biden family made a fortune off of human trafficking and drug trafficking just by supporting it directly through intentionally lax border security policies. And the evidence is clear. The pressure that we as the citizenry are putting on public offices through elections, through politics, through public discourse, essentially unofficial petitions to the government to redress our grievances, is having a positive effect, which is evidenced especially by the several planned Christmas market attacks that were foiled in the last couple of weeks leading up to Christmas Day, and giving us at least a deep breath of peace on earth and goodwill toward men.
Yeah. Well, 2025 was the year that, and we do have to do I don't know, maybe that's what the deep dive should be, year in review. I don't know.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Yeah. And you could easily generate, well, anyway, that's shop talk. So 2025 was the year that the globalist leftist shibboleths actually started critical failure. All right. Particularly in Europe, in France, and in Germany, the political center can no longer hold a government. Okay, the government can no longer hold together. How many prime ministers or finance ministers has France had to have been fired and then reinstated in France in the last?
I've lost count, but
Macron.
They've been going through them.
Macron cannot hold together a government anymore.
They've been turning them over like fry cooks.
That's right. Under a centrist position, Macron cannot hold power. The center cannot hold it together in France. And in Germany, Merz, whatever his name is, he's also failing. He's leading the country into a spiraling debt crisis, like America style, okay, which is antithetical to the way the Germans have always done business, right? So soaring debt spending, military provocation with a military that is probably a decade away from being a functioning global fighting force. Okay, um, and yeah, and with demographics continuing to fall apart because they won't stop flying in the migrants. Okay, so you have wholesale betrayal of the German people by the German government, and wholesale betrayal of France, of the French by the French government. And I'm not even starting on UK. Okay, the
God,
disaster
yeah,
that is the UK. I've been all week. In case you guys, do you guys remember Millennial Woes? Okay, from
yeah,
way back about a decade ago. He was popular on YouTube.
yeah.
Well, he's basically been shut down on YouTube for a long time. All right,
Mhm.
so you can find him on Rumble. All right, and he's been doing a program, the Millennial. Okay, Yule the pun. For this is his 11th year doing it, and he brings in a variety of guests, some known, some not quite so well known, from the right wing sphere of Europe and the United States. And it's some of the comfiest, most informative streams that you'll listen to all year. All right, so I highly endorse it. Look it up, Millennial. All right, on Rumble. Check them out, please. So maybe we can get on there one day. Should be
That'd be
great.
that'd be fantastic.
Yep.
Oh, and that's one of the kinds of things that I want to do in the coming year. One of our shows in the not too distant future is going to be discussing the roadmap for 2026, and I'm not just talking about the content that we're going to do, but what 2026 looks like as far as quarter by quarter how we expect things to go, because next year is huge, guys. It is the 250th anniversary of the country.
Yep.
On so
What's the average lifespan of an empire, Chris?
yeah, it's getting a little scary.
Yeah, yeah. This
Yeah.
2026. If there was a year where, if there was a year for a black swan event to occur, 2026 has basically everything is lined up. Okay, you got the planets of political intrigue and economic spoil. All right, have all aligned. All right, 2026 could be a very significant year. So choose your metal, gold, silver, or lead, and invest wisely. Okay, or and all of the above.
Yeah. So I was just reading this comment. Lil Cam sent me a message on Facebook. I haven't replied to him yet. We're gonna have to have conversations, Lil Cam. I might have to take a look at your process and ask you some questions. I'll respond to your Facebook message right after the show this morning. We'll try to connect. So yeah,
Is little Cam a Zoomer?
I think so. I think little Cam said he's 23. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somewhere in that area.
Oh, he's one of the zoomiest of Zoomers.
Yeah, and let's be fair. One of the part of the market that we want to hit. I don't want to get zoomy for the Zoomers. I want some Zoomers to start tuning into the channel and saying, you know what? If I had a dad, he'd be like Chris.
It is a quest. We have to, it's a quest to save the Zoomer generation. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're the last generation of people that are born with souls. Okay. Generation Alpha.
That's right. Heaven just ran out.
Heaven ran out of souls. Okay. What I mean is, Generation Alpha, the majority of Generation Alpha are going to be illiterate, okay, and incapable of doing basic math in their head. All right, but just given the augmentation of technology and little screens that tell you everything you need to know, presumably, okay, in front of your face, right?
Sorry, I need to jot down a note real quick.
Not all of them, of course. My daughters are Generation Alpha, and they were they understand what a book is and how it operates. So, okay.
Yeah, Penelope is so. Rod, friend of the show, told me the other day that your mama should have given you a Bible and your daddy should have given you the wealth of nations. And I've turned that into a song that I'm working on. Uh, and it's kind of like a country rock anthem is the way I'm going with it. But I took it a little bit further. Not just your daddy should have handed you a copy of Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, but your father had a responsibility to hand to you the inheritance that is a free and prosperous world. That is the wealth of nations. Liberty and prosperity is the wealth of nations. So we use the book and reference big thick books as something that has substance and value and real intellectual authority, and compare those to things like mean tweets and buzzword headlines, and talk about the value of tradition. Your mama should have handed you a Bible, and your daddy owed you the wealth of nations. I'm having fun with that one. So that'll be coming up soon. Probably not getting published today because I'm going to be focused more on moving all of the existing music over to Brushfire anthems and kind of getting that ball rolling. But yeah, maybe Monday morning or the second, we'll do a show where basically the show will be, this is the outline. This is what the year looks like, right? We're going to be doing, so every time because it's the 250th anniversary throughout the year, every time there's a major anniversary related to the founding of the country, right? Constitutional Convention, ratifications, declaration, all the major signings and things like that. We'll do a show where we either do kind of a limited deep dive on the regular morning show, or depending on what's going on in the news, if we can connect it to something in the news cycle, we'll do that, right? And then anytime there's a major crime or a new Supreme Court decision, then we'll be talking about that more in the context of the history of law, the history of traditions, right? Why do we have the Second Amendment? It's not just for deer hunting, I promise. Right, the tree of liberty has been thirsty for far too long, right? And then the other things that I want to do throughout this coming year, I'm going to be giving talks to small GOP groups. If any of y'all are already associated or involved with those, reach out. Y'all can DM us either the Brushfire Mind or Chris Lowry on Facebook. Or the Brushfire Mind on X is a great way that's probably the best way to get in touch with us, unless you're one of those rare, glorious humans that has my phone number, and then, baby, call me. But we'll be doing those. I'm gonna start looking at local seasonal fairs, Spring Fest and that kind of stuff, and go set up a vendor tent. I'm not gonna be selling T-shirts or anything at those. I'm gonna be doing, I'll have the table set up. We'll have some business cards, the business cards with the QR code on the back. And that'll be about outreach and subscribership. Say again.
You're pretty chatty this morning. You're talking nonstop.
Shut up. Say something, Mario.
No, it's fine. But
go ahead. What you got?
I don't have any. You took all the oxygen.
I've been up since
all the oxygen in the room, man. I'm just trying to catch my breath right now. All right.
Rooms don't need oxygen; they need Lowry.
So,
when opportunity knocks, I answer the door and I say, "You're late."
All right. Just enjoy. Let's just breathe for a second there. Okay. Okay. Now, conclude your thoughts. Now,
I'm done. There are a few other items that will be on the list, but I'm working up a show that will be. This is the year in preview. This is the plan going forward, and how we're going to execute on those things.
So you were involved in the Rockdale GOP, okay? Right?
Yeah.
Is there something similar in the county you're in now?
Yes, it's
But I imagine
much smaller.
it's smaller, way smaller though. Yeah.
Yeah, much smaller, and they have not scheduled their first meeting of the year yet. But I'm working on making contact with their leadership and getting on the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone do a Father Mario meme? Yeah, we could probably pull that off. Dad says I did my part. Now can you hang on to the victory? That's the plan. I'm working on it.
Indeed.
Sergeant Major says he did his part, but that's not entirely true because he's still doing it. He continues to strive toward the objective. Like buying the next 50 acres. No, you can buy another 50 acres right next to his existing farm property.
Shit, you keep
Michael might just have to get strong.
yeah. When you keep buying land like that, you could have one of those like the back to the land movement in Arkansas with what is it, Arvil?
Yeah.
Arvil, right? Who led that? Yeah, where it's not like quite so explicitly, but it is implicitly like it is a white only, white only domain.
Yep.
Have sections of neo-Confederates, neo-Confederacy in Georgia.
But we want Republicans in it.
Yeah,
or at least conservatives.
I get you. Mm-hmm. Well, so, I think 2026. I really if the GOP, okay, if the Republicans do lose the House and the Senate, all right, that's basically the end of Trump's presidency. All right, because then he'll just be like defending himself against impeachment and bullshit and congressional hearings and all that. Okay, it'll just be 50-meter targets in Washington D.C. will be all that the administration can focus on. All right, so I think that if that is inevitable, okay, just given the ease at which the public can be manipulated, right, then for Trump going into 2026, just fucking go hard. Go hard. Ramp up the deportations, ramp up everything, okay?
Yep.
I mean, fuck it. We just play scorched earth, okay? That's what the Biden administration was doing when it brought in 20 million illegals, right, over the course of 4 years. They were just going balls to the wall, no care given as to what happens after, all right? I want the same type of energy from Trump. The Republicans don't have that type of energy to give. Yep. Santa Stevens says, "Careful, only Muslims are allowed to have compounds without being harassed." Yeah, in New York, yeah, they've gotten away with a lot of shit there. In Texas, they've gotten away with a lot, but there are some legal. They have to lawyer up in Texas to do stuff like that. So at a minimum, all right.
Lil Cam says, "I demand my casino be built."
Oh, that's right. Little Cam's a feather Indian, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was. I think it was in a super chat or a deep dive or something. I think it came up. I think he's like part Cherokee, if I remember correctly. Anyway,
with a feather, not a dot.
Yeah, that's what I yes.
Yeah.
I said feather. I use the politically correct term of feather Indian. Okay, as opposed to dot Indian.
I like to use the term engine because it sounds like engine. Mm-hmm. And my kids are all useful little engines.
Santa Stevens says, "Hey, hell, Mario, they're right here in Georgia talking about Islamo compounds." Yeah.
Yep.
I don't. Georgia long-term political outlook is bad. Georgia's
very much so. Yeah.
Georgia's lost. Okay. Because you confluence events. You had the Hollywood money came there. All right. And with the Hollywood money comes the stench of Los Angeles evil. All right. And the chosen coming in. All right. Who would use that money finance political campaigns. You've got a hydra of American blacks who are returning to Georgia. Okay, the opposite of the Great Northern Migration that occurred after the after the during and after the Reconstruction, following the Civil War. So you're seeing the blacks from the North returning. Okay, and Atlanta is a major, that's like that's Black Mecca. Okay, in the United States. That and a feckless GOP that spent maybe 30 years only giving a shit if Green Arrow go up. Okay, like
Right.
all hail our Lord and Savior, gross domestic product. Right, heretics. Right, who
You know what?
basically
It's funny.
who've allowed ridiculous levels of immigration to the state of Georgia. Like basically, what's happening to Georgia is worse than say what happened to it's the same thing that happened to Virginia. How Virginia was lost. All right, exactly the same, except replace Northern Virginia government contractors with black people. All right, that's what happened to Georgia.
I was watching the Hodge twins had Tommy Sotomayor on
And in
the
Florida,
other day.
the moment we get a Democrat governor, you can expect chaos here. Okay,
Yeah.
expect chaos. It'll be
But anyway,
a social breakdown.
The Hodge twins had Tommy Sotomayor on, and they basically all they were talking about was black fatigue. This is three black guys complaining about black people acting badly in public. And what struck me as interesting in their conversation that I didn't know, apparently in the black community across the United States, the first thing black men think about black men from Atlanta is they're all gay. That surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
yeah, there are like in black Twitter space, like there are memes, like within the black mimetic field, Atlanta is zesty.
apparently.
Yep. That's right.
Not sure how that came about, but I don't know what else to say about that or what else to say.
How did that come about? I think it. Well, you've got Atlanta is probably got probably the Atlanta area, right? Greater metro area probably has a really high concentration of historically black colleges. I'm presuming, right?
Yes.
So you're going to get a lot of homosexual influence from from academia. All right. Plus remember in the 90s and the 2000s, ATL was like, crunk city or whatever. You know what I mean? It was like some of the most garish and tacky displays of black wealth, right? That you would see in like the music videos, right? And in the rap music. ATL was like party town. So
yeah,
it was party town for blacks with money, okay? Which means you're going to get it, which is also going to skew homosexual. So it's a combination of factors. Plus plus the Hollywood money. The Hollywood money, Chris. How much homosexuality do you get when you make deals with the devil?
When you import Hollywood at a discount tax rate,
Hollywood at a discount tax rate, how much gay influence and gay money do you think
politically that maneuver in theory was supposed to bring a lot of money and jobs into Georgia, and we know this now. It was predictable then. It is case study known fact now. You cannot import value from corrupted regions.
Yeah.
The corruption follows it.
Georgia was destroyed so that I can go to Walmart and get a boxed set of the entire series of The Walking Dead for $59.
Yep.
That's Georgia's epitaph.
Yep.
That might be a good place to leave it on.
I think you might be right.
That's some food out there if you think about it.
I want to raid you guys to somebody. I don't want to raid you guys to somebody too big. I want to keep it. This is tricky. NYPD, and you know what? I'm not going to try too hard to avoid the. We'll try this Real America Voices. We'll try these guys out this morning because I got to do one more raid this month, so this will be the one.
Well, I gotta go take the trash and recycling down to the road before I miss the trash man. Because if that happens, that's unforgivable.
All right, raid confirmed. You guys pop over there and check out this the American Sunrise Show. I'll be over there in the chat with you guys momentarily. And we're gonna have to do. We only need one more hour to make our hours for the month on premium, but we need 10 hours to finish up our streaming requirements. We got 5 days to do it. I don't think that'll be a problem. Some of that is after I get some coffee and watch a little bit of the American Sunrise Show. I'm probably just going to go live on here and just be live while I'm doing the transfer work, getting the music off of Brushfire Mind and over to Brushfire Anthems. And Lil Cam, after I get inside and get some coffee, I'll hit you up on Facebook and figure out what questions I need to ask you. See if we can't make some money making music, baby. All right. Laura, you got anything else to wrap up on?
You still need 10 hours of regular show?
Of regular show. Well, of total show. The 1 hour of
the cumulative
the 1 hour that we require for the deep dive, which will probably be 2 or 3 hours tomorrow night. We'll go a long way toward that, but yeah.
So it's the cumulative effect of my malfeasance all month.
Well, not just that. I actually had several flipping medical appointments this month where I had to cut the show at like exactly 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't have time to go over. And I actually had one morning that I was talking about French protests, and 20 minutes in, I searched an ill-advised search term on Twitter and was just wrecked by it and had to quit. I just gave up at the 20-minute mark. I was like, okay, so don't search that. And I can't have any more thoughts. Now I need to go and smash my face into a tree for the next half an hour. Have a good one, guys. Twitter's unregulated.
Let me just. I need to immediately drink half a bottle of vodka to bleach bit my fucking ram because oh god.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hook up a leaf blower and see if I can't press a gallon of scotch from one ear hole to the other and just watch it all away.
Freebasing scotch.
Guys, so here's your safety brief. The year is over. Don't drive drink. Don't fry bacon naked. And don't freebase scotch. We love you. And
you made it all the way to the last week. Don't blow it.
Don't blow it. Okay. I know those leaf chits are burning a hole in some of your pockets.
Yeah.
I highly recommend television. Nobody gets run over by a car while they're watching television.
That's right. You sit your ass down and keep your palms locked right to your legs. Okay.
Yep.
Like you're doing a board. All right.
Be safe, boys. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow evening.